Well, hello again. Here we are, Brandon and Stuart. The show is Trash Talk, and we have a good time on this show. I I think we do. We
Yeah, most days,
yeah,
yeah,
we
yeah,
get silly sometimes. We get serious sometimes, and I have to admit that I think when we get silly, we probably have more fun.
yeah. It's fun to just kind of
We
go off on a tangent.
Yeah, as nobody really takes us seriously anyway. Uh,
True, true.
so, and we say that oftentimes our show is educational, but we still haven't really been able to determine how, to what extent.
Yeah, there are some moments where we educate. I don't know what categories or topics, but yeah.
Yeah, and well, it's usually something we took directly from the computer. That there
I
were.
don't know what you're talking. I have no notes over here, okay? I have zero. I don't have anything. The only time I've ever done notes, there's a couple shows I wanted to get stats, like and we
Right.
do these shows early in the morning, so my memory is not there. But for the most part, man, I wing it. Like, let's be real. How much prep do you guys do? Well, I put pants on today, so there's that.
Yeah.
That's my prep.
Yeah,
You
the,
know?
the 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 biggest challenge of the day is whether to put the left foot in first or the right foot in, you know.
I mean, I haven't even changed my hoodie in the last couple weeks, so.
Well, I I was wondering, you are in training for a stair climb here
Yes.
in Dallas. What'd you say is
Big D climb, baby. Big D climb 2025. I'm grateful that they moved it to March, the end of March. Normally it's been in January, which is cool because it's the end of January, and January is always one of those months where you want to get back in shape. You want to, there's the whole dry January thing that people
yeah.
do. I haven't had a. That's not true. I'm lying. Okay. I did have some wine a couple weeks ago with a couple buddies, but before that, my last drink was like December 15th. Um, Mostly because, well, kidney stones suck. But also like I've been training. So, and I don't drink as much as I do anyway, but as I used to anyway, but it's just a great opportunity to take that time. Like forget the medical issues. It's a good opportunity just to go, hey, post holidays, you ate too much, you drank too much, let's just chill.
Well,
And
I always
yeah,
thought about that because, I was a runner for 20 years, and while it was sometimes fun to go to a 5K in
yeah, I love 5Ks.
January up north, and it was
It's
bitter
great.
cold. Still, I'll tell you what, one of my favorite 5Ks was in Wisconsin in January. It was called the Schnapps Run. So 5K, and at each mile marker, mile one, two, and three, you stopped at normally you would have a water station and you would get a shot glass full of peppermint schnapps and you would
Ugh.
down it. And schnapps warms the whole body up as it's going down. You feel it go all the way down to your toes.
Oh, I know. I
Yeah.
know.
And it feels real good at mile one. It feels better at mile two. And by mile three, you don't care how long this race is. Just keep the schnapps coming.
No, man, I would have a schnapps schickle of vomit, schnapsnickel, coming out of my mouth. I used to drink Rumplemints
Yeah.
back in the day.
Yeah.
And when I say drink it, I mean too many shots. And I remember, I don't know where this conversation is leading, but I remember we went to an FC Dallas game. This is pre-Luke. So my pre-Luke FC Dallas game days were very different than Luke FC Dallas game days. And we were tailgating all day. We won. No, there was a tornado warning. They canceled the game. So we ran to the bar because that makes sense.
Right.
And I was like, whatever, if I can't drive anyway. And we were doing facey racers. So facey racers are Rumplemints on ice, Rumplemints, Kahlua topped off with vodka. You take the two straws, stick it in there, and you slurp it all down. Well, Rumplemints is like, I don't know how many, it's just high alcohol, man. And then you add the Kahlua. So the sugar in the Kahlua makes the alcohol hit your system faster. And then you just decide to put vodka on it. And we did like 3 or 4 of those. Well, needless to say, I ended up in the bathroom of that bar and on the floor. Luckily, my pants were up. And
You
my
think.
girl, yeah, maybe my girlfriend at the time, wife, I don't know if we were married, and she had to, yeah, she had to take care of me and get us to the Uber. And I remember throwing up in a Kleenex box. So, but anyway, that being said, that's why January is a good time to go dry. Focus on there's a lot of races you can do, and the Big D climb is one that I've been fond of for the past 13 years. This will be
Yeah.
my 11th time doing it. So yeah, I'm training. I don't know
But
if I excel in it, but I'm
yeah,
excited about it.
it made more sense to move it to March because after the holidays, especially when you celebrate it like you do sometimes, to have to start training on January 1st or something for an event in January doesn't make a lot of sense. To be able to do training for anything of any distance, whether it's a 5K,
Yeah.
a stair climb, a marathon, whatever, for March, April, May makes a heck of a lot more sense. By the way, you mentioned the drink. Do you ever hear of hairy buffaloes?
Oh, I have a lot. I think it means something vastly different in my mind, but no, I have not.
Uh, well, a hairy buffalo was a party drink when you would go someplace, somebody's apartment, whatever, and in the kitchen sink you'd put the stopper in, and you would just pour stuff into the sink.
Yeah, that's trash can punch or jungle juice or
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. So,
uh,
whatever, if somebody brought wine, put it
yeah,
in
you
there.
don't.
They
That's
brought
just
vodka or
man.
bourbon, pour it in there, and maybe you'd throw some kind of fruit juices in there to give it a little bit of flavor. And then you just take your solo cups, come in, just a little bit of ice, and boom,
We
that
did
was
that
Harry
with
Buffalo.
we did trash can punch. We had a little more recipe with that, so it actually tasted semi good. I mean, picture like a Long Island iced tea times 12. We used to do that at the bar though, when people were jerks, and I was cutting them off. I gave them a Matt Damon, and we called it a Matt Damon. So we took the bar mat and dumped whatever was in a shot glass and gave it to them.
Oh, wow.
So you want to see people leave the bar real quick. But yeah, no. So I'm not drinking like I did. I'm training for it. I've talked to a lot of people. I'm doing it solo this year. Nobody wants to join me, and I'm okay with that. I'd rather do it solo anyway. One year, I hope when Luke's older, he'll do it. He would say he'd do it now, but I'd be carrying him up the stairs, and I'm 46, and he's 50 pounds almost. I don't want to do that. But I would say one year when he's older, I'd like to see if he'd do it with me, even if we just walk and take our time. I don't care.
And what'd you
But
say? It
it's
was
real.
72 stories or something?
Yeah, yeah, and I got to get the actual stairs, because remember, it's
Yeah.
not steps, it's stairs. It's like 1,700 or, it's really cool, man, and it's been something that I gotta, I started running back in Michigan, and especially right when I quit smoking, I started running a lot, and I was way better at it way back then. And then I still continue to do it. It's an easy thing for me to relieve stress. It's an easy thing for me to lose weight and think. I think I'm better at the long distance running. And I think if I was to ever do that in high school, that's what I would do. I got little short legs, so we're not taking big strides, but I
Yeah.
feel like my stamina for the long distance is good.
And generally, I think people that that are a little bit shorter, there is a little bit more muscle mass in the thighs and the calves anyway, and so that might be beneficial for stair climbing too.
Yeah.
A little
I'm
harder on those
sore.
guys that are 6'6" and
Yeah.
lanky.
Well, then you always play the thing of, and I've always done this, do I skip stairs?
Do some people
And
do that?
they do, yeah. And
Yeah, but I'll
I've
bet
done that.
if they do it on the first 20 flights, they ain't doing it on the next 20.
or save that energy. And you got to figure out, is it better to push towards the end or push
Pace
towards
it.
the beginning
Right.
and pace yourself? And that's one thing I've always battled with when I've done the stairs is my first year, I went guns a-blazing, hardcore,
Yeah.
screw everybody. I had a great time and I thought I was going to die at the end. Um, then after that, I've kind of gone like, I'm going to do a nice pace in the beginning and conserve my energy to the end. Like we got 10 floors left, you know,
Yeah.
because you feel that burn. And then I've skipped all the way up and I have, yeah, that's so I don't know what I'm going to do this year. I think my goal is just to get a good time and finish it and be done.
Now, do you just compete against yourself, or do you go out with other people, or do you talk to other people on the way up, and or do you just concentrate on what you're doing?
There's been a couple times I've tried to encourage. Always try to encourage people on the way up. I always give them some love, you know.
Yeah.
I've had teams before, where we've tried to kind of stick together and it hasn't really worked out. You know, some of the teams say screw it halfway through and they're going to take their time, and
Yeah.
then some of the other teams we've done it. I went when I was married, and she was awful, not just in the marriage, but like, as far as like doing it, and. So I remember just leaving her. I was like, bye. And I went all the way up. And then I came back down like 10 flights to be like, you good? But then I've also gone with like a buddy of mine. He lost his wife to leukemia. Forget which type. And so he did it twice with me, like in her memory. I believe it was twice. And he told me flat out, dude, I'm not gonna be next to you. Like I suck. And I just want to do it. And so like I stuck with him for a few and he's like, go. And I'm like, all right, I'm out. So, it's morely just a mental thing for me to compete with myself. I think if somebody asked me to stay with them, I would do it. I don't care.
Yeah, my sister has been a runner for gosh, close to I guess she's close to 40 to 50 years now,
Yeah.
and still doing it. But what she also does, she has become a I hate to use the word trainer. She's like a
Mhm.
pacer.
Sure.
They
Yeah.
get people that run a certain pace, and then they get,
Yeah.
especially for the benefit of the newbies, the
You
ones that
got
are
to.
running their first distance runs, and train with them to help them get into a pace. Because you're right, the worst thing you can do is get the adrenaline flowing, and the horn goes off, and everybody just like a bat out of hell heads up those stairs or out on that roadway, because you're going to burn out. So you're better off
You're
pacing
better off just
yourself.
pacing yourself,
Yep,
you know?
finish strong, and just pace it through the whole thing.
And the biggest thing too, like for something like that and something like a race, I would think too, is for me anyway, it's like when you're looking at the floors, you're looking at the flights, okay, where am I? I just completed 15. Okay. Do I kick it up a notch or do I like this pace?
Yeah,
I'm at the halfway mark. Maybe I can go a little, like dial it up and get another 20 flights or something. I got 10 left. Let's go.
yeah,
One thing I don't want to do is take a break. Some people have to, and there's nothing wrong with that. And if my
right,
body
right.
tells me, Brandon, stop, then I'm going to stop. But I found out I've taken a break. I had a shoe situation. It sucked. They're great shoes. I don't, but for some reason, my one left foot, the tie kept on coming undone. And I was tying it real fast. It would come undone. And I stopped like three times. That not only slowed me down mentally, physically, emotionally, but it threw off my momentum. I
Yeah.
almost was like, screw it. I'm just gonna, but then you're going up the stairs. You want to step on your shoelace, fall, blah.
I've never done a stair climb, but do they have like water stations every so many
Yeah, it's really
floors?
cool. They have people and their sponsors, a lot of high school cheerleaders. Um, that sounds weird, but I wish they were at least college. A lot of high school cheerleaders cheering you on, a lot of teams cheering you on. They have medics. And it's really great because they have pictures of everybody that is either lost the battle, to that cancer or fighting it. And that's a
Right,
big motivation, you
right.
know. Besides making me teary eyed, when I see the kids, I'm like, Nah, I got this, you know.
Yep.
And then they have water stations. They'll say water station on floor 16. And you just grab a bottle. They're the mini bottles too, which is kind of cool.
Right.
Biggest thing for me is the music, you know.
I was just going to ask that.
Yeah, keeping the music on. I have specific tracks that I train to. And then as it gets closer, I have a track that I want to start off with and what I want the next one. And I also know the length because then I can dial it down and it's different. It's different on, you know, when you're going up and down the stadium stairs at a high school or when you're in the gym, it's different than the actual climb, but you know what time you're at. And so for me, I know what time I want to be at based off that song. I try not to dial into it too much, but it almost becomes like a subconscious thing.
Do they have any live music at the
They do,
event?
man. There's a DJ there in the morning. You can hear it. There's a DJ up top. They got all kinds of oranges and bananas and snacks.
Yeah.
And then it's a party, man. People dress up. People, you know, wear onesies and whatever. It's a party. Then afterwards, they have multiple food trucks. You can pick one item from one food truck, whatever you want. I mean, it's usually like a limited menu if you want to buy
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
And then they have a local brewery there. You get beer. Like I was drinking beer, like eating a burger. Because man, after you do all that, who cares
Right.
about what you're put? Because for breakfast it's usually like a smoothie or some sort of protein bar just to kind of get going. A lot of water. I usually have coffee early in the morning. I don't drink coffee when it's within an hour of me going. Last thing I want to do is have to run to the bathroom. You know. Well,
Right.
but man, I've had a beer and I'm drinking a beer, eating a big old fat juicy burger afterwards. And it's fun. You meet some cool people and the whole organization is really exciting. So I'm gonna do a lot of footage. I'm gonna record a lot.
Oh, good. Cool.
Prior to, I might do some quick footage of me running up the stairs, but the focus is there. But I think those things are great. I love to see the people that this is what they excel at. They've been running, and I love that because it's motivation, you know?
Yeah. Well, there's always those people that are very competitive that are there to win the awards at
Sure.
some of these events. But I have always believed that, for instance, when you run that stair climbing event or you run a marathon, the day of is simply a victory lap because you have done all of the training for
Yeah,
that day. And when you get that day and that horn goes off, you're just running to celebrate all of that training that you've done.
I agree.
Uh, and those events, I mean, I miss it. If I wish I could have continued, but I blew out a knee and had to give it up after 20 years. But I was a back of the packer. I enjoyed being back with those people. Like you said, there were all those people that I was running along at my easy pace. Somebody was panting. You'd come up and you'd say, just, if you got to stop, bro, just go ahead and stop, get some water and keep going because you got this. You're going to finish. And then when you'd finish, you'd wait for those other people to come in and applaud
Yeah.
them for coming in.
It's
I
a really
real
cool thing too, because like I've seen some people that I've been genuinely concerned about doing it. Like, and I've told them, you got here, you made it. It
That's
doesn't
right.
matter when you finish. It does not matter when you
Right.
finish. You finish, you know? And it's really cool. Most everybody that's done it has that vibe.
That's
Most
right.
everybody. There's a couple people like, get out of my way. And I'm like, you're a jerk, you know? I hope you fall. But most everybody, especially at events like this, it's not their first time. I mean, there's a lot of people, it's their first timers. It's just a positive vibe. It's one of the coolest things I've ever done. And I've done a lot of 5Ks.
Yeah.
I've done some, beer 5Ks and things like that. And I think that clearly this is probably the only thing that or soccer I would have really liked to dive into. But yeah, we'll see.
I remember probably one of my greatest memories was running a 10K back in Illinois.
Nice.
And I guess it must have been about the last mile and a half. I got passed by a fella with a prosthetic,
Mm,
and it was kind of a
amazing.
bittersweet feeling because number one, you're thinking I just got passed by a guy with one leg,
Bro.
and and the other thing was, God, how does that guy do it? and he was my motivation. I followed that prosthetic across the finish line, and
Yeah.
we hugged because I said, you know what? I was ready to drop out, and you carried me through.
And that's the thing too. I've seen some people do it. You meet survivors and
Yeah.
they're hustling, and I'm like, okay, I got you. Like, I'm a just a 46-year-old dude who's lazy. I got you, man. Like,
Right.
so I think it's spiritually awesome. It fills the bank up. It fills your spiritual bank up, and I think for me, man, it's yeah, it's just a cool thing, man, and I'm excited. I'll probably work the day before. It's funny too because a lot of those years I've gone and done the event and then I've gone to work. Like and I was working in the bars and stuff. But I probably won't. I think the last couple of years I just that I've done it, I'm going to take it off. I work the day before, get a good night's sleep. It's hard.
Yeah.
And then get up, 4 o'clock in the morning. I don't have my start time yet, so I don't know. But it's usually because I've been one of the first people to sign up. I'm usually in that first group.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
first responders are in that first group. They go up before anybody because they're in full gear.
Yeah.
And those guys got balls the size of grapefruit. So, but
Yeah.
I'll do it. Like it'll be that 8 o'clock, maybe 9. I don't want it later in the day. There's some people got to show up at 11. I'm like, screw that, So,
Yeah. Well, we all wish you the best of luck at the stair climb. We'll do a follow up in one of our shows to see how everything went. But we encourage you. You don't have to be a trained athlete to
no.
to get involved in something, whether it's a stair climb, whether it's a swim, a biking event, a running, a walking event,
Yeah.
anything. They're a lot of fun, and it's sometimes you really get a good T-shirt out of it too.
Yeah, you get a cool T-shirt. They give you a medal. I've got
A
all my
medal,
medals. I'm
yeah.
looking at them right now. Koozies. Get a bunch of cool swag.
Yep.
Luke ends up taking my T-shirt anyways.
And usually really good food at the end too.
I'm ready, man. I'm ready to drink at the end. I might have to take a Uber home.
There you go. All right. Go out, make it a good one, and we'll meet you at the starting line next Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Bye.